All right, our next guest on the program is an actor and writer in the NBC hit series AP Bio, because I want to talk to him about how that show went from canceled to back because of its audience demand, which you rarely ever see in Hollywood. Also, former Second City guy, Cook County Social Club. Ladies and gentlemen, Brendan Jennings. Yes!
He's a Knicks fan.
Yeah! What's up, everybody?
Hey,
Let's
you,
go, Knicks. How's that documentary going for the Knicks?
It's a real strong one, right?
If you enjoy seeing Patrick Ewing getting dunked on, it's a killer time.
Oh, my
I
God.
want to see the whole episode where Charles Smith gets blocked by BJ Armstrong at the end of a game. Like, what the hell?
I have all those taped, and I really can't even start watching it because I'm afraid I'm going to get depressed.
They're showing in Chicago the all the 96, 97, 98 Bulls playoff runs. And one time they play the Knicks, I think they sweep them out. Or maybe it's a 5-game series like in the 96 season. But man, it's John Starks is terrible. Like he just he just can't even hit the rim. I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
he wasn't in this series. Yeah.
My grand memory of the whole OJ thing is that it was the closest we ever came to winning a championship. Starks was hotter than he's ever been, and they couldn't seal the deal in Game 6. And then the next game, Starks could not hit a shot. If you put like a child's net in front of him and a little softball, it's horrible. And then the one time we beat the Bulls is when Jordan wasn't there. And I'll never forget being a kid and Ewing standing on the announce table, like pumping the audience up. And I was like, we didn't beat him with Mike. And I was so it felt
And
so
it took 7 games.
Yeah.
And it was the East semifinals. It's the second round.
And Scottie Pippen did not foul, what's his name?
Hubert Davis.
Hubert Davis on that shot. So let's not get into it. That's over long before that. All right, let's move on. I was mentioning just about AP Bio, which I love the show, and the show is it's one of those where you guys, and it's got a lot of great Chicago connections, but you guys created a great sitcom for whatever reason, and who knows with network TV, they moved on from it, and the audience actually was like, wait a second, you can't do that, and they're bringing it back, and you guys are actually got a streaming deal that's going to start this summer. Talk about it.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. We were saved our first season because our streaming numbers were insanely huge. Like Hulu was I think we were at one point the second most streamed show behind This Is Us or something. And NBC though, still was kind of living in this world of old TV numbers. And in that world, we were not doing well. But they didn't know how to quantify it. So they bring us back second season. And again, we're doing very well streaming, but they still just couldn't wrap their heads around it and we get canceled. And then they are launching this new streaming platform called the Peacock. And we Mike O'Brien, the genius creator of the show, fellow second citizen, went to them and they were hemming and hawing, they weren't sure. And then Pat and Oswald, our amazing principal Durbin, went online and posted about how upset he was about it. And then all of a sudden there was this huge online uproar, which was amazing. It was so cool to see and be a part of. But it was also when the show was on, how come every week you weren't doing this?
Well, it speaks to the way people watch TV now. And
I think it's a quiet thing.
Yeah.
It's a quiet personal thing, and you love your show, and the way you show support is by clicking and watching it. And that was pretty amazing thing to see. On a daily basis, there was just all these tweets about it. And the fact that we got saved is amazing. And we went all out for this season 3. And it really is Mike was just hilarious. He was so upset about being canceled. And he's like, this is all about the funniest things we can do. He didn't care about storylines, notes. He would be like, okay, let's get that note in there and make sure it's hilarious. So it's going to be amazing.
And there's so many great Chicago actors and writers that are involved in the show. Does that help at the end of the day? Is when you guys all get together, does that time that you spent together in Chicago make it easier, shorthand, to get to the jokes?
It's really the best. This is my first writing job. I really had no desires to be in a writer's room. I was actually kind of nervous about doing anything like that and always thought, just give them the funny faces, baby. That's what I'm here for. And so I came out to Hollywood strictly to be an actor. And I got cast in the first season as Dale the janitor. And then Mike before season 2 called me up and asked me if I wanted to join the writers room. And I had so many friends in there, Shelley Gossman, another Second City main stage alum, Charlie McCracken from The Reckoning. And I was like so scared, and Shelley was like, trust me, you'll have a great time. And my buddy Tim Robinson was telling me, like, being in a Hollywood writers room is the closest you'll ever get to making a lot of money to be an improviser. And he was so right, because
That's
you get
awesome.
in there, it's all your friends, and you spend all day just making jokes. It's really the greatest job on earth.
Now you went to Hollywood, you know, and you're have success, and that's good. But the storyline has been your son, who had more success by going on The Price is Right. But you tell that story. Your son actually won on The Price is Right. What?
Yeah, the golden goose. This kid, like, is a miracle. My wife had always wanted to be on The Price is Right. And I was the same. I grew up Bob Barker. If you were sick and home from school, you watched The Price is Right. It's the greatest thing on earth. And they turned out like, I haven't seen it since Drew Carey took over, but I guess now they do more theme stuff. And so they're doing a week of kids on The Price is Right show. And my wife saw that they're filming on a Sunday. Normally they only film Monday through Friday. She's like, they're filming on a Sunday. It's a middle school week. I'm going to take my son, Aiden, and my son Aiden has this kind of cool swoopy haircut. And he's got these like little cheekbones and stuff. And every time we go somewhere around here, like, we have been stopped by people who were like, here's my card if he's ever interested in anything on TV. While my other 2 kids are like, huh? So they go to the Price is Right taping, and they go through all the crazy Price is Right stuff. And they're sitting there, and my wife is kind of playing it out in her head how it's going. So the first kid called up, if you see this episode, is like a little redhead kid. And my wife's like, well, that's it. The redhead kid spot is filled. Then they called up a bunch of boys, and she's like, they're not going to call another boy. They're all end up being 6th graders. She's like, they're not going to call up a 6th grader. But out of nowhere, they say, Aiden Jennings, come on down. He comes rushing down. He instantly gets on stage, and then he plays for $10,000, where he had to guess grocery prices on like a bunch of stuff. And he nailed it.
He nailed it. Yes.
I mean, some other kid on that show won a trip to the Wisconsin Dells. His kid won 10 grand.
10 grand. So does that go into his bank account, or are you like, with that, there's a fee? There's a commission on that, son.
I forgot to tell him about all the rent he hasn't paid. It's kind of funny, like, we were TJ. This is I miss the Shanhoff little piano bits.
You're the only one.
Brennan, he's been doing them since '78. It's been my joy to be around these piano bits my entire life.
Same bits in '78.
Same bits.
I can't tell you how many amazingly painful corporate improv gigs I've been on, where just out of nowhere, in the corner of your ear, gently, TJ does a small keyboard bit, and it just saves the day.
You know, just real quick, sorry, I'm having, are you guys having a technical issue with Zoom? I'm having
Something's weird.
issue with Zoom. I don't know what it is, but I'm not sure. Well, anyway, we'll try to figure it out. Brendan Jennings is our guest, and he is on the program, of course, actor and writer for AP Bio. And, you know, he's also a longtime Chicago improviser, Second City guy. And what's going on here?
What the hell is that?
What is this?
Oh,
What
no.
is this?
We're being Zoom bombed. What's going on?
What's going on, you losers?
What is this? This is my time.
Hey, man. Hey, you should know this about Brendan Jennings. I did 300 shows with him. When he found out I had an incurable disease, you know what he said?
No.
Nothing. He's a monster, all right? Hey, quick question.
Wait a minute. This isn't a bit. I thought you were just doing a real long bit, Michael.
Dude, fuck yourself. Real quick, are you the TJ from the Sonic commercial?
I'm the TJ from Cloverfield.
Oh, from Daredevil? You got alopecia too? Hey, do you guys know how Brendan Jennings lost his eye? It's lazy, but it might as well not be there. Like my legs. But you know how chicken fingers, backstage, ETC, hot chicken fingers. He's such a fucking pig. And he lost an eye. He has a whole family to take care of him. And he's such a piggy. He's like,
I'm glad we can facilitate this reunion. This is Michael Lair and Brendan
How
Jennings.
dare you tell that story, Michael?
hey man, all out in the open. I'm in the flow state now. It's the 100% truth telling.
I'm not. I was told I wasn't allowed to come on here without my shirt on.
We have to have somebody without their shirt every day. It's a contractual obligation.
Hey man, when it comes to being disabled, membership do have its privilege.
It is a good look, Michael. It's a good look, man. You look good.
I look hella good, man. I'm still Hollywood as fuck. I'm the next RJ Might up in this bitch.
There it is. Well, you're our first Zoom bomb, Michael Lair. You guys were on stage together, right? You guys were at one point.
Yeah, I love this man.
Yeah. We wrote an ETC show together, but I've known him forever. I used to go watch his one-man shows at IO. One of the most insane human beings on earth. His shows were legendary.
Thank you, man. And you're a legend. And, you know, like, we have one of those rare improv long friendships where there's never been anything ever shitty between us. You know, like,
Nice.
there was never, it was, you know, people I love, it was shitty for years at one point.
Yeah, I mean it's almost impossible not to have been in a beef. I think like Goldstein can't walk into certain bars.
There's like two.
Take the over.
Scott, I love this shirt. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I'm a
That's a
big
good
fan of
looking shirt.
America's #1 ALS comedian.
Yeah, hey, I got my application in that America's Got Talent. So if I go on live, it's time to troll the world, girl.
Well, Michael, it's great to have you, and of course Brendan Jennings. Both of you. The first time the pandemic show has been Zoom bombed, which is great, and I couldn't be happier that it was you. So thank you.
Justin, really quick. I have a Horatio story I just learned that is amazing, real quick. My son, who is 21 now, he came to ETC when I was on it, and he may have been 13, 14. He told me he found one of Horatio's old porno magazines in his locker. First time he ever saw magazine. And later that night, first time he ever masturbated.
The best Horatio story of all
Amazing.
time. That's
It's a
amazing.
magical day. It's a magical day.
There you go. Wow. All right. Michael, thanks so much. Brendan, thanks so much, man.
Thanks, guys.
Want you guys back. Watch AP Bio, of course, which is on the streaming network Peacock, would be coming up this summer. And Brendan is always welcome back. And we got to have him back to talk more since we let Lara hijack his time. But follow Michael Lara, too, who really is the #1 ALS comedian in America at this point. That's our show, Pandemic Talk Show. I'm Justin Kaufman for Goldie, for TJ Shanna. Have a great week. We'll be back on Tuesday. Tuesday, we got Ryan Dempster, former Chicago Cub. He's going to be our guest. And later in the week as well, poet Iman Lorenz. So we've got a big shows. We got awesome shows next week, Tuesday through Thursday. Again, have a great 4-day weekend. We know we will. Fuck off, April. Let's go, May.